Guys, welcome back to another episode of Unmotivated. We're sitting down with a dear friend of mine. And he's one who knows that F word is personal. Negro, speaking to the mic, man.
I'm speaking into the mic. I'm just taken aback because you keep calling me friend. And I'm like, what is happening today?
Now, Corvaggio, man, you've been designing, doing clothes, man. I'm going to have you walk him through the first time, how we met, man.
Wait. The first time that I met you, you came to a pop-up of mine. It was I think it was at a nightclub.
Yeah.
At a nightclub.
Firefly or something.
Firefly.
Yeah.
So you came to a pop-up, and first I think you started asking my old business partner like a bunch of questions.
Yeah, he wasn't that bright.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know him like that. I just know I said, I'll just wait till the guy gets who's in charge.
Yeah. So like, I guess you was talking to him and he didn't really know what to say. So you came over to ask me. But yeah, you was like very forward, very like, say man, like that's how you like say, I just really need to ask you a couple of questions. Like you come really, really like, I don't know what it was, but it was just like, all right, he's serious, obviously. But it was like he gave you like that transporter vibe. Like he talks to you very direct. And so it was like, I can't get this wrong. But I mean, we just had a conversation. I think the conversation was just more so about the where I wanted to lead the brand.
Yeah.
Different questions on like how I get things made. And then just the overall, the overall direction of the brand, I believe, is what we were talking about. I don't remember specifics.
Bro, no, those are exactly like, bro, I remember going to Charcoal Bar, or what, the Char Bar with you?
Yeah.
Like, yo, nigga, let's meet up. Such and such. I'm going to see you this weekend. I'll be at your house. You was like, who is this nigga?
Yeah, I did not know who you were. I did not. But the thing was, it was like he was very adamant, but he was very determined to understand what it was.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I love talking about the clothing stuff.
Yep.
And so it was just a breath of fresh air to find somebody who actually wanted to have the conversation. Because it's like a lot of people just want to know like, oh, when you dropping? Like you were asking specifics of like, when you get this made, how do you do this? How do you go about doing this? What's the thought process behind? And it was just like, it also made me think.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just like, all right, I like this dude. So yeah, so like I think we had met up. We did go to Char Bar.
Yep.
And it's kind of, you've been around ever since. Like I don't really remember any of the other conversations because it was like every time that we do link up, it's a positive conversation.
Absolutely.
And even though you're not super nice, you are probably one of the biggest assholes I've ever met in my life. But
I'm a really nice guy. I tell people, people who know me, I'd be like, I'm the nicest person, shut up.
He actually is. He's super nice, but it's like he's very, you're blunt with a capital B. And so I think people don't really understand the fact that it's like, people say I'm blunt.
Yeah.
I'm like, you ain't met Trevor. Like Trevor, he scares me what he's gonna say. Like I know how to take it back.
Yeah.
But no, I say all that to say like you're very inquisitive, and I respect that because it's like a lot of people don't really ask questions on how things are made. They just want the end result, and so they don't take into account that you're human. They don't take into account that things happen. They just want a result, and it's like when it comes to creativity, sometimes it's not always something that you can give. It's not something that I've always been able to give because I'm passionate about it, but at the same time, I'm very in my head.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it gets to that point where you just always like overthinking.
Oh, yeah. You definitely be considered an overthinker.
Absolutely. Because I'll scrap an entire thing if I feel like it's not worth even dropping.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck this. We're not doing this.
And I tell you this, man, he's dropped more things that we like than we don't like. And I've never met somebody who don't like his stuff. Everyone that I brought around, I mean, Jack still today is like, fucking somebody stole my fucking hoodie, man. Ask Gucci if he's got another hoodie. I mean, and I can't find mine, but one of my favorite photos is me standing in a parking lot with a Controlled Substance hoodie on, man.
No, man, I appreciate that because it's like, I went through a lot. Like, the clothing stuff is something I'm still doing. I'm working on it, but it's like, you get so many roadblocks. You know what I mean? Especially so I went from having 2 other business partners to not having any of them. And, and I still have talked to them. I don't have any issues with them, but great dudes and I hope that they're doing really well. I don't really talk to them like I used to, but I will say it's like, I kind of, you lose yourself when you work with people who aren't on the same page as you.
Yeah.
All money ain't good money. And a lot of times when we were first starting out, they were really trying to force us to be this brand that we didn't want to be. so you kind of get lost in that because it's like you're riding this wave of success, but it's not the wave that you want.
You know what they call a lot of times someone who makes you a deal? They call it the discovery phase. So let's say I pitch you, I'm going to help your business. You say, I don't think you're going to be helping my business. I say, listen, if I grow your business by 25% in 4 weeks, then I'll come in and work for free, but you got to pay me for the discovery phase too, if it works. So the discovery phase, kind of what you were talking about, same thing with any brand. I think a brand has to find its identity, has to find its voice, has to find its niche. And those the biggest brands in the world are, nobody was talking about Tesla, but everybody was when they just put out the Lotus looking Tesla, right?
Yeah.
Amazon selling books, like, oh, that's a brand now. Fucking Facebook.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of a brand in a sense. And,
Absolutely.
And it killed a lot of other social media pages that snapped all this stuff. It's like they've got these brands, right?
Right.
But if we force basically a speedy trial per se, and you miss a few things, you're gonna miss asking a few questions, talking to your customer, and trying to fine tune your approach to delivering, amazing things to your market, and even in defining the market, man. So I love that experience kind of shit. Like, what that experience do to you though, since you kind of like went left versus going right? First,
it was scary because it was like we. So the very first shirt that I made that really was successful was like a royal shirt. I remember it was like our very first pop up, and we needed to make something, and it was just quick. It was just like, fuck it.
Got that one with the Indian on it?
No, it was the one with the crown with the logo.
Oh yeah.
So we did that, and then we had a pop up event with like a bunch of other clothing brands, and this was our first time because our first pop up was with Charlie Hustle.
Oh yeah.
So our pop up thing was right next to Charlie Hustle's, and everybody kept taking our shirt over to him. And like when we first met him, I won't say Chase was an asshole. He didn't talk. You know what I mean? Like, and I love Chase. Chase is a dope dude. Like, but didn't really say much to us. But everybody kept bringing our shirt to him, thinking that it was his. And he's like, it's not mine.
That's got to be fucking shitty.
Yeah, but it was just like an experiment because he's like, all right, let's see. What he said, because he was like, this ain't my shit. He could have just even like, fuck these motherfuckers, this ain't my shit. But he didn't. Like, he was pointing them in the right direction or whatever. But at the end of the night, he came up to me, and was like, yo, whatever you're doing is working. Keep it up. You know what I mean? And this is coming from somebody who was already killing it. Like, he's got Kansas City on lock, even to this day. And he was just like, if I can help in any way, let me know. And he helped us with a lot of things. So I really appreciate that because it's like he didn't have to do that. And it could have just been because he saw something in something that we were doing. And like, compared to him, we were nobodies. You know what I mean? Like he had already been doing it for a few years. But yeah, like, so I think when it comes to why I decided to go left, I wasn't happy about it. It was something that I was just like, it caps you. And then I found myself competing in the same market as him. And that was never what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
With any of those guys, like I love everything they brought to the table with like Charlie Hustle, Made Mob, all of them. But it was just like, I don't want it to feel like it's a competition because I don't want it to be. Because I feel like they all have their ways of winning. But I think in our city in particular, it's this thing of where they pit us against each other as opposed to just letting us all be our own thing. So they were all looking for us.
Let's also go back to a mentality that requires you to think about the future.
Yeah.
And you think to myself, do I want to be in competition with this person or do I want to work with this person? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so if we saw at the same time, me personally, like you just heard my guy here allude to, all I wanted to do was learn.
Yeah.
Most people think I'm super smart. Smartest thing I've ever done is ask questions.
Absolutely.
And even more importantly, show up and support in whatever way that looks like. So I told him, hey, I'm going to pull up to your house, nigga. Let's go get some food, nigga. Let's do this. Like I was over there, and to this day, wherever he's at, if I'm in the place, I'm still over there because I think that you have an understanding that a lot of people don't. And you're very passionate about it.
Yeah.
For me, I just want to see you kill it.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the biggest thing. It's like, my nigga, got to put the roadblocks down, nigga.
Yeah. And that's real. Like, because it was like, it's been so, it's been difficult just getting my creativity back. Like, I lost a lot of people while I was doing this. I think that was a real turning point. Cause like when we were finally starting to make waves and doing our own thing and doing it the way that we wanted to do, I was really starting to get traction. Like I got picked up by Karma Loop, which was a streetwear, like an online streetwear boutique. And we were making our first like real goals at like cut and sew. So like we had a whole campaign. We had all this stuff, and then things took a turn. You know, I was raised by my grandmother. I think it kind of fucked me up in the head to kind of see her with cancer, and it just came out of nowhere. It wasn't like it was just. It wasn't.
Tell me about it.
I know it wasn't like it was something that we found out. Like we literally found out in September, and she was gone in November. So,
Sheesh. You know, they say that a lot of people are living with cancer, don't know it the minute the doctor tell them they die.
exactly, and that's what it was. I mean, to be honest, it was just like it was a hard pill for me to swallow to see the strongest person I know not be able to, be.
Who she was to you, man. No, trust me.
Absolutely.
If anybody's watching
Yeah.
that same thing, I don't have a lot of friends and things.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Gooch and I, we had a couple moments, if you will, where we talked about that time
Yeah,
and the struggle,
absolutely.
and you don't think about it till you get older and you start having these new emotions, right?
Yeah,
and
for
you
sure.
start thinking to yourself, man, how do you watch someone fall apart?
Absolutely.
I've never in my life had to do it, and I'm watching it happen to
Right. In real time. Yeah, for sure.
tough.
So it was, I think that was the hardest thing because it was like, I was riding high. I was like, I had just got invited to do a show in London. And I was like, I didn't even know how I was going to do it because like, I only got these pieces. So I was literally, she was like, well, it's going to be for the following year. And I was like, okay, like I'm already talking to the people, like, let's get this stuff made. Let's do, like, that's major. We're going to London? Like, what? That was big. Like, I was so excited for that. But then it was like, it came time to where, my grandmother was sick, like I said, and I had to make a decision because, like, I'm the only boy. I'm the oldest boy, I should say.
Yeah.
Not the only boy. My brother was in jail. Other cousins, everybody else is younger. She raised me like her son. My mom had me when she was a teenager. Me and my mom grew up together.
Yeah.
So my grandma was everything, man. Like she was the matriarch of our family. But seeing her not, you know what I mean, she did really well with money and all that. And I saw all this, and like a few years prior to that, she was invested. Like every year she would get dividend checks and she would be passing out money, giving it that. She lost all of her money, trusted the wrong person in the financial market, lost all her money. It just put her down, but at the same time, she was just like, she was such a giver. And I think that's where I get my giving spirit from. So, and I'm saying all this to say, like, I saw her struggle and I saw her give and give and give to people to where they wouldn't give. And then when it was her time to give back, nobody would give it to her. So once we found out she was sick, she needed a bathroom done over so the nurse could come in and like help. So the money that I was going to save for London or start saving, I was just like, fuck it. I'm going to get my grandma's bathroom fixed. Well, I'm not going to say it was like top tier, but I got her bathroom fixed. And that was like, I never seen somebody so grateful for nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was the biggest thing. Like something so small made such a difference to her.
Yeah.
And so to see her in a situation where she was like really sick, because like my grandma was tough. Like she gonna cuss you out, she gonna do whatever. But to see her like that, man, it kept ringing in my head like constantly. And I was just once she passed, it just was like nothing was fun. Nothing made sense. I was fucked up. I mean, still to this day, like, it was like the closest thing I've ever had to losing a parent. And it was something that I just always like put in my head. And it was just like, I was using that as a way to not, I was so scared of like creating, because whenever I thought of happiness, I'm happy when I'm creating. I'm happy when I'm doing all this stuff, but I use it as a negative.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, man, like if I'm happy doing this, who else will this hurt? And it makes no sense, but in my head, it made so much sense, because it's like, I looked at that as like being dangerous. Like every time I'm doing this, somebody's hurt, or maybe I shouldn't do it because that was a sign. Like, so I'm looking at all of these things, like you said, overthinking,
Man.
and trying to find ways to shy away from it. But it was just something that was like, every time I saw somebody like, oh yeah, I love your hoodie. I love the hoodie. I love this. I love that. So it's like you getting all these praise, but it's like, I can't tell these motherfuckers, like, I'm terrified of who this will hurt if I can, and like it was a curse.
Yeah. Forget the cursing, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a kind of a shitty thing when we think that our progress is the thing that'll set us back. But realistically, had you progressed beyond measure,
Yeah,
you would be able to help more people, man.
for sure.
That's the biggest thing. Is,
For sure.
And I had come to that conclusion too, man. I mean, I almost like, man, I'm gonna dig myself in a hole,
Yeah.
and crawl and don't want to be bothered. And the truth is that's just not the life that I was given. Like I don't get that right,
Absolutely.
And I ask myself a very simple question. I deliberate them. If you're not gonna walk off a bridge, then you got to live.
Yeah.
You got to live. So I feel
Absolutely.
like if I'm not gonna kill myself, literally,
Yeah.
then I have to choose the latter because I've never been less than.
Right.
And I don't. That's not my thing. It's like, it's not my me less than. Nobody would ever presume that.
Right.
And I don't want the presumption either. But you go,
Yeah.
what do you do in this situation? Because you too, meaning myself, feel undeserving until you do. And I've said this. I'm talking to a black man right here, people. This is one of my guys. You just seen him shed some tears, and we've had some moments where man.
For sure.
So
Yeah. But I mean, it got to the point, man, where it was just like I stayed away from it. And so that was in 2016. I did stuff here and there, but I was like very sporadic. It wasn't that I wanted to do more. I really did. And then I every time I would get the jump, like the gumption,
jolt or
actually,
something.
yeah, like all right, let's go. 2020 happened, so like I literally had started working on some stuff, and then the woman who was like in China, who was working on my clothing with me, she passed away of COVID. So then I was just like, fuck, I don't think this is what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. So I'm just like, this is like, okay, this woman died. So it's like at the end of the day, I'm just like, shit, like what can I do? So it was just one of those things where it was just like, I was always using that as the way to get out of it. But I felt like somebody was like, it's not what happens to you, it happens for you.
yeah.
So I'm in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, fuck it. Like it's obviously
It goes back to that question: just how bad do you want it, man?
Exactly.
I mean, when I'm gonna tell my story, but you've known me for how long and known I've always got dogs.
Yeah.
And even with, I mean, I literally went to this dude's house, stopped there on the way to do a breeding.
Yeah.
and it worked, but I mean, I did all the things that we did or that I tried to achieve with no home.
Yeah.
But I believe that one day we would get to a place where everything would be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let me be very clear, nothing's worked out.
Yeah.
Nothing's worked out, not one thing, but the work is required. And here we are now. And, I tell you, man, this dude is literally called the front office, taking the key if I show up in Kansas City when I've been there. And I love the fact that I have a place where my guy can, if he chooses to visit Dallas and have peace. Yeah. The most powerful thing on earth, which sometimes we never get, is peace. And peace starts in our mind. And I can't imagine, but I'm getting a very vivid picture of what it's like to watch people fall apart, and even the idea of staying strong. Like in your mind, you strong until it's like, damn, he can't jump no more. He can't walk around. Let's say my dog, man, who is this? You know? And the same thing, because then you think, well, how are we supposed to progress past this? Well, you got to. That's the point. Yeah. The point is you didn't do this to stop. You did this to build something that was going to help a ton of people. And in your case, been a huge inspiration to everyone I've ever come in contact with. So I'm like, bro, got to keep it going.
Absolutely. And so it's like, what's funny? In 2021, I ran across this artist. His name is Mateo. That's his name, but he had kind of deleted all of his social media. But he was the one that was like drawing the Jordan paintings and shit in black and white, and the Kobe Bryant. So I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, man, I keep having this vision of this painting. And I explained my story. I was like, hey, I lost my grandma, but I'm just looking for something that I can see of her, so that and he was like, bro, I definitely understand. And I'm giving him the ideas. I'm like, look, my grandma's black. I want it to represent her as a queen, because that's what she is to me. And he sent him the pictures, gave him the ideas, gave him the concept, told him exactly what I wanted. And it's just like making clothes.
Oh, yeah.
So once he sent it to me, took him about a couple of weeks, maybe a month. But I was like, I don't even care. Just throw the money at him. I was like, I seen your work. I know it's going to be fire. Bro, I literally got this painting, and like, it just opened me up. Like I was crying.
Yeah.
It looked just like her. beautiful painting. I got it at my place. Every place I go, it's got a fucking, like, you would think it's an art museum. It's got a light over it. And I look at it and it just pushes me because it's like I was using her death as being the last thing that I saw, but I never looked at who she was and what she was the one who got me in the clothes. She was the one always buying me all this shit from Halls and shit when I was a kid. She was the one that made sure, exactly. She was the one that was making sure that I was dressed nice and doing all of that stuff. So this is for her. You know what I mean? In so many words. And like I've come up with so many different things that I know that I'm going to do to commemorate her. But I kept using her death as a scapegoat as to why I'm not working hard. And I felt like I was doing not only her a disservice because she worked hard, but I'm doing myself a disservice because I'm not putting myself in a situation where I know I got all of these connections. I keep getting all these cool people, and I'm meeting all these people who are doing great things, even right now, and I'm not utilizing it because I'm fucking worried about shit that I can't control. Everybody, it's not gonna be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing. Like, I was looking at everything as like it's got to be perfect. And it's got to be to the nines because, like, in my head, that's what shit's supposed to be. I'm the most least perfect motherfucker ever. I'm going to take a nap, and if I get up and if it don't make sense, fuck it. Let's just try again. Yeah. But it's like I found myself using everything as an excuse as to why I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And I'm using her as, like, a crutch. I miss her, but I'm like, she's not here, but it's like she's here. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta keep going.
That's why I watch the Green Mile, once a month, man. When John Coffey says I had to give you a little bit of myself. Yeah. We come in contact with certain people, my friend, and they give you a little bit more of who you're supposed to be, actually. Yeah. It's like, did she give you herself, or did she give you an idea of something you could live up to and something that's plausible? Yeah. The people I was raised with, they're not quitters. Not the smartest, but not the dumbest, but they're just not quitters. Like, they gonna get up, routinely go to work, handle business, and kill it, right? Yeah. I don't have the quit. Like, I'm like a dog, literally. Like, you'd have to kill me. And so the only way this stops is if my heart does, and maybe it does. Yeah. But maybe my life was just the beginning of someone else's story. Yeah, for sure. That part right there. So, where your grandmother checked out, sounds like she had a good life opposed to that. Absolutely. That big evil C word. Yeah. But the facts are, you're still here with the chance to do what you've always done. Yeah. And everyone I met, and that's impact people, man. Yeah. And that's why I had to. I'm like, bro, I'm so glad that you're here and able to sit down on this podcast because I don't got a lot of people.
But I will say, like, you are a driving force. Like, you constantly ask about the clothes. You constantly reassure me that, like, hey man, what you were doing was special. You know what I'm saying? So I 100% appreciate that. It's between you and my homeboy Julian. Like, I know you was like, you don't use the F word, but
no, bro. I'm leaning into it. Like, you person, I'm gonna know for 20 more years, bro.
No, for sure.
We've known each other for a solid 10 now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But it's like, yeah, I can play it like, okay, yeah, the friend word, he don't use it. Like, he was my friend, but I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care.
But I told you, I'm hard to put up with, but I tell you, Gucci, man, if nobody tells you, man, this dude has been solid, man.
He's not hard to deal with because he don't bother me. Like, it was funny. Like, when I first met him, like when you first decided to move to Dallas, and I told you, I was like, yeah, man, anytime you want to come, like, you're the only person who was like, hey, I'm in Kansas City. All right. Yeah, I didn't know you meant it, but cool. Like, no problem. Like, but it was like, you don't bother me. Like, you brought the kids around. Like, bro, I don't be having company. I'm an introvert. I'll be in the house. Oh, yeah. Or if I don't be there, I'll be out and about.
That's why I love being at your place. Yeah. I know what nobody gonna come and bother me.
But that was the thing. It was like, it didn't bother me, but it was like also like having people like you around. It kind of pushed me because it's like you motivated. I saw you bring kids in and motivate them, and push them. It's like, it's people like that's rare. Like, I would be doing all of them a disservice to be treating, for what?
Yeah, no. And every one of the kids, like I said, they all love rummaging through your stuff. They love wearing your stuff. We done did some cool ass photo shoots with your stuff, man.
You met a lot of cool people.
Yeah, man. And those kids about that shit, they shaped me, bro. Yeah. They shaped me and gave me a different perspective on life that I'm still learning from to this day, just when I introspectively look in. So your place has always been a place of peace because, like me, it's like, folks know you and they'll call you, but they can't get to you. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm on you. Nah, nigga, you ain't come over here, nigga.
And do what?
Exactly. It do what? You think I'm finna sit up and talk to you all day, nigga? Stop playing with me.
Exactly. But I just look at it from the aspect of like, look, people like you don't come up, they don't come out all the time. Like they're once in a lifetime. And so, and I'm not saying that just because you're sitting here. I tell people that all the time. But like I said, when I was going through it, you and my boy Julian really was like, hey man, what you need to get and Julian's blunt too. And that's the shit that I hate because I'm like literally like trying to be sad and it's like he won't allow me to.
Yeah, dude.
He's like, hey man, I know she's gone. And Julian lost his mom. And I grew up with Julian. Julian's a UFC fighter now.
Okay.
The thing I love about him is like I wasn't around him when his mom passed. But I remember the day, not the day, but right before my grandma's funeral, came over my house and just let me cry for like the entire night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I don't forget shit like that. Because I don't be crying like that. But two, it's like when it's hard to come by with friends that's like really like there, especially like guy friends. That's like.
I think a lot of time though, it's only more so in our culture, man.
Yeah.
I've been around them, them people, them other,
They cry. They cry. One of my friends, he cried because his girlfriend broke up with him, and we was on the way to get some food, and I'm just like, you don't know what you want.
You want a burger, nigga, or some chicken sandwich?
I don't want to just drive off and you're going through this. Like,
no, but you're
somebody get him a sandwich.
In your case, though, I mean, look, I respect that too, man, because to be amongst men and people you respect and admire and appreciate, and then to be able to have those moments where you think, man, is that a weak moment? No, man, that's a moment that was real, bro. Yeah. You've got to mourn loss. You've got to live in your demons for a second. You got to hit rock bottom every now and then, remember to stand up. So I'm glad that someone was there, and I mean, I've seen enough myself too to be like, damn, bro. And those are the moments for me. Where you shared some of those, you go, damn, dude, it's this dude. He, and I'm a trustworthy person, but then you start thinking about things, and more so recently in a different way for me, because I'm like, I've been blessed to meet a lot of good people, and I've been abrasive and very direct and forward, and people like, my guy here, he embraced it because he too was looking for some drive, some push, like somebody to be interested even in that. Yeah. Versus trying to ride the bandwagon. I'm like, yo, well, how'd you build this? So to still be sitting here today and watching you, work at it, put it together, me being able to call and, ask questions and check in on you. And he checks on me more than I check on him. I'm gonna do better. He'd be like, yo, nigga, I ain't talk to you, nigga. What you doing?
Yeah.
But for sure, and he also understands too, and that's the sad part, Gooch, is, I never embraced, I didn't think the world was a good place,
Yeah.
So you go, this friend thing sounds dangerous because I've never watched nothing good happen from Friends.
No, I'm with you. You didn't even like the Friends TV show.
I'm like this. I said, why would you call him friend? A friend, somebody you can trust. You can't trust that nigga. Yeah. That's what I would tell people, and I'd be right 99.9%.
That's what you told me. I was like, damn, like shit,
all about your old business.
Yeah, I was like, that.
I was like, he's useless. you go, and that wasn't no disrespect. I didn't know him, so when I'm saying things,
this is the first conversation. He's like, hey, I'm just gonna let you know your friend is useless. I said, first of all, I'm Cavaggio. Nice to meet you.
I'm like, he's an idiot. That's how I approached it too. Yeah. Look, I tell you, people, when I was a little bit younger, I'm still that way now. Even funny because shout out to my guy Tim from the Blendery. He said a guy reached out and said, I pulled a Trevor. It don't work that way because they hit me with I'm like, what make you think I said, it don't work that way, bro. I'll walk off. Because now I got less patience than before, but I might not approach it. Right. I might approach it a little bit different and just keep my ass out of it. But I repeat, man, it's been a blast being a part of your life, man. And I can't thank you enough even for finding some time, to get. I know you had other plans, but I'm glad you chose to stay here, man. And this is always going to be a safe place for you, man. I wish more of us sat down. As I talked to my buddy Manny, my barber, about, we did something on depression. He's like, what's the number one thing is not be depressed? To talk about it. Yeah. Talk about the shit you're going with. So when you at first, shed some tears and was walking me through the pain that you had suffered and watching your grandmother deteriorate, I'm not going to say I had witnessed it or I could understand it. Had I been there with my grandfather, I think at 13, who checked out, and maybe him not being able to get out of bed, that probably would have fucked with me. Yeah. And I missed it, right? So maybe I was supposed to miss him falling apart and not being able to stand up when that dude could move the world in my mind. Right. So I'm like, he falling apart, you go, I didn't get to see it. I just remember they're like, hey, your grandfather died. That was that. And it broke me down still.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch the deterioration. So even this dog thing, for me, watching Ego
Yeah, for
deteriorate is like, I got to do even better with his son.
Yeah.
That's how, like, I'm giving it like this is his last litter.
Yeah.
You know, that he gets to participate on this earth, and I get a chance to do better.
Yeah.
Do better and be a little bit better and continue to be a light and a guide and share a truth and an honesty that I appreciate from you. So if nobody else tells you, man, I've always appreciate you being kind to everyone I brought around, definitely being a good friend and being consistent, man.
Yeah.
That consistency thing. You know how you call nigga switch up on you, nigga?
Who is it?
you like, you ain't switched up once. I ain't never gonna switch up because I either fuck with you or I don't.
But you know what? I'm so bad with friends that distance is the best thing ever.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm one of those friends. Like my best friend of 20-something years, I barely talk to her. And but when I talk to her, it's like you can't say I was being a bad friend because like I called you on Christmas. But that's what all my friends like. I'm such an introvert that I'm learning that about me. Like when I was younger, I used to always like go out. You was like, yeah, he's going out, dude. I didn't know I was an introvert until I realized like I have to be wasted in order to go out, and that's the worst. So once you realize that about yourself, it's like now I'll be at home. They be like, he don't go nowhere. I'm like, I'm good, and I'm not drinking. So that's what, like, but yeah. So I had to learn that about myself. But at the end of the day, I just look at it like distance for me when it comes to friends, it's less to juggle. You know what I mean? I got my own demons that I'm fighting. I can't always be. I give enough of myself to all my friends. I don't want to be that guy that's like constantly trying to like hang out with all of his friends and all setting up shit. You ain't never gonna have a dinner party with me.
I don't think those are friends though, man. You know, I think we're gonna get into a space where there's wealth.
Yeah.
And when you look at the top tier people, I know you're an inventive, creative person. I think the kind of friends I've always wanted to have are people like you that I can call on, and not just to call them, but like, yo, nigga, let's go have some good food and some drinks, but let's go create and make some money.
First of all, you don't eat food. Like you don't. I've known
Nigga,
Trevor
I
for
eat
10
food,
years.
nigga.
I mean, you eat food, but man, today was the first time me and Trevor ever went to a restaurant.
This is true,
food.
people. I just realized
Like,
today on the way back, I said, damn.
Yeah, I said
I
all
ain't
I've ever
never-
seen Trevor with was a gallon of water. Like I've never seen you with no food. I'm like, shit. My mom was like, "Is he got food over there?" I'm like, "He don't eat." Like, what's it? He there? Shit, if you want to go get something to eat, get something to eat.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
yeah, I'm just like, all right. Trevor does not eat. Food,
you know, that talks about the dynamic too of our relationship because I've been so straightforward. You know, him and I have been on this time frame. There's been times where I've been gone all day, come back to your house and you getting dressed up to go out.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like this. You like, what you gonna do? I'm like, nigga, I'm good. You be safe out there, bro.
Exactly. I'm like, shit, all right, well, if you need something, let me know. But I'm like, he ain't gonna need nothing because he don't eat. He got his water bottle right by his bed. He's good.
That part right there. But then he realized, look, I used to cook. I was a chef. I used to, I
didn't even know that. I found that out today. You just told me a bunch of stuff. I'm like, he don't even eat. What are you talking about? Like, it was food in the house, and he never, like, made a dish. He watched me cook and didn't, like, give me critiques. Like, I'm like, damn, like, he's talking about, yeah, I used to be a chef. I'm like, then you see me make this nasty-ass roast beef, and you said nothing. You just let me do it.
You gotta let people learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, shit, I never made that shit again. I'm out here talking to him like he don't know, like, oh, yeah, it's a crock pot meal. You don't know nothing about these. This is something,
Hey,
yeah,
he don't know I study food, man.
Yeah.
I do. I could make some crazy stuff,
like,
but
this is all the rage. I got cornbread cooking. Like, this nigga, like, this shit is trash.
hey, look, bless his heart. But but that just goes to, you know, when I have you know, and that's part of my next phase though, realistically, bro, and is finding better ways to be a friend. Cause like you talked about earlier too, I've always just come in and chastised you with questions and made sure you on your shit.
Yeah.
You know, and when I come in, I'm on a mission. So I'm like, boom, 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 bang. So in this case, you say, man, what are some more ways that the people who choose to be around me, the people I choose to be around, we can connect and build a space that's continuing to be safe, but even more importantly, where we might inspire others.
But I want to just say this really quick because you just mentioned like you come in with a lot of questions, but I never took it as you were being like malicious. I felt like, but I also felt like people need that type of accountability put on them. You know what I'm saying? Because like I respect it. Like I'm not even when I'm not doing shit right. You've been like, hey man, I think you really missing out on your potential. I think you really need to get whatever is going on with you. You need to get it figured out. You didn't have to say like you don't say it in a way like you on some bullshit. Get your shit together, but you will
Oh yeah,
you
no,
will say that.
Once you express kind of your state of being, so I'm like,
Yeah.
you got to let that journey ride
Yeah,
itself
yeah,
out,
exactly.
and be there when it's time to grow again.
Right, exactly. But what I'm saying is, it's like people need people like that, because it's like so many people who get coddled, and it's like, oh, they're going through a lot. But it's like, yeah, I get that, but it's like, you've been saying that shit for this long and ain't shit changed. Like,
You know what the craziest? I'll tell you this, man. When I was on that fishing trip this weekend, this is the craziest thing a guy said to me, and it's gonna fuck with me, right? So for those people who believe in heaven and hell,
yeah,
I said this. I said time is one of the most frightening things.
yeah,
He said, really? He said, that's the easy part. He said, you want to know what's scary? Is thinking about eternity, because it's forever beginning and ending. So it never ends, right?
yeah,
He said, so if we look relative to the time we have on this earth, which may be hey, this is where you end up, time is nothing.
yeah,
And when you think about the bigger picture, how should you be spending your time? And for me, you go, what better way to spend my time here
yeah,
and challenging and chastising somebody I believe in?
yeah,
And I don't believe in a lot of people or their skills. I asked him very specific questions. I'm not an idiot. He made it make sense.
yeah,
And then when you get to, your house, you had these good looking stuff and, fashionable. And I go, dude, I'm like this. What are you doing, man?
yeah,
I'm not even a big fan of the Kontrolled Substance, the logo per se,
yeah,
but I love your passion for it.
yeah.
Like, yo, I've been asked today, like, yo, is there a different name you could call it? Like,
Yeah, you
how you?
did.
And I've asked him before, like, well, what's this mean? And how's this working? Like, how you going to get this to the masses? And then when you said streetwear, I had never looked into streetwear.
Yeah.
So then I start going down the line and I learned about Kith NYC from Gucci. So you look up and you go, oh, damn, this is an interesting space.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I like fashion a little bit more now because you made something that didn't make sense, which then for me, like, oh, I love KS. I love when it's, on the hoodie, it's right on the edge of the sleeve.
Yeah.
I love the slits in the side, and the substance on the top of the shirt. You go, and for me, substance, faith is a substance thing, hope for the evidence. So it's like,
Absolutely.
yes, you become a substantial person based on the substance you ingest. For me, it's information.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, my addiction is information and education. So when I was able to chastise you in that moment, here we are talking about it over 10 years ago, and you remembered as vivid as yesterday. It feels like because I was very clear about like, what is this? Who are you? What's going on? How do you do this?
Yeah.
And you had all the answers I was looking for. I said, oh man, this guy knows what he's talking about.
But with all of that, it's like, the name has always been the name, and the reason why is because the substance is the part that stuck out to me.
Oh yeah,
I think it's just all about the way you treat people, regardless of the metaphor being, about being drugs and things like that. Substance always stands out to me because it's just a way of like, it's morality. You know what I mean? It makes it. If you're a good person, you carry substance. You got things that you got things you care about. You got things that you stand firm on. You got things that you feel that are important to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like putting that out there, but trying to do it in a cool way. So it's like, if I got to keep control on that motherfucker, that's what I'm going to do. But it's like, I'm going to always stand with substance because it's important. Like I got to stand on my own too. I got to make sure that my morality is sane. I got to make sure that it's sticking. Like I want you to know I'm a good person. You know what I mean? Regardless of like the.
Well, you're the best person you can be, man.
Yeah.
And the good and the bad and the ugly is not something I think is always identifiable. I think we're always growing. But foundationally, like you talked about me, I'm not malicious. I'm very direct. Yeah. But if I was being malicious, you motherfucker would know.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's like, yo, bro, I'm just trying to figure it out. I don't think that's a good idea. And you said, the crazy part is again, being around this other group of men.
Yeah.
Everything that they are rooted in is accountability. So I said, damn, I don't know 17 niggas because there was 17 people on this fishing trip, and I was the only black person to be clear.
Yeah.
But there were 17 men who've done this for 7 years straight. And you go, wow.
Yeah.
And the key was when you're talking about your future, even like, well, how can we help hold you accountable?
Yeah.
Based on the things that you say you want to do next year or the next year, the accountability, bro.
Right.
Like that's my point. That's why for me it's like it's always been hard to have friends because nobody brings the energy I bring a lot of times.
Yeah, yeah.
And me, I'm like, yo, stay on me. But it's like nobody's writing this plan out for me, right?
Right.
I'm just so determined to figure it out every day. And I repeat, people, been blessed because every time this guy has done a drop, or he sometimes when he'll leave a trade show, he'll send me a list of everything he got just in case. And if he was using a new designer, Trevor, I know you said you want to do this. You can hit these people up. Well, can you tell me the dimensions? Yeah, I'm just going to use what you did. You've been there, man.
Yeah.
You've been there, and that's kept me going as well.
But the thing is, it's like it's not my information to keep. I learned.
I
that
wish
a
more
long
niggas
time.
knew that.
Yeah, I had to learn that a long time ago. It's like you grow up and people are so fixated on like trying. I've worked. I'll say this. I've done this clothing stuff for about 10 maybe 12 years now. Probably longer than that shit. I don't know. But I've had several people that'll reach out to me and they want information and I give it to them.
Yeah.
Now I could have charged. I could have been an asshole and been pushed. But then it's like they'll turn around and they'll act like they don't even know I exist because now I'm a competition. But I just gave you this entire thing of like, hey, this is how you do this. This is how you do. But it's like it doesn't bother me. And then I met these guys in Arizona, super good guys, and they had the same mindset as us. He was like, this information isn't for me to keep.
Yeah, bro.
If I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart, I'll get it back. I'm not worried.
Man, dude.
And so it's like once I realized like, wow, that's the type of person I am. And so I was like, I can work with these people because they gave me the notion of like, and shout outs to Iron Wheel because they're super dope.
Yeah.
But like they reassure me that it's people out there in the world that are like us. You know what I mean? That everything got a cost to it. Like if I know it and I can help you, I'm not gonna lose because I'm helping. But yeah, I don't gatekeep. Like I'll tell you where I got my outfit. I'll tell you all that. Like I might not, if you don't ask, I'm not about to be like, oh yeah, I got it from, you know what I mean? But it's like, if you say, hey, where you get that? I'll tell you. For what? Who? So it's like, I say all that to say like, I'm not one of those people who, I'm going to try to share the wealth as much as I can because there's been many of people that came before me that don't look like me that gave me some game. But
that's the thing, it's not game, bro. When someone brings you their work and their life and their story, you go, oh, this person just needs help.
Yeah.
And I too, I've been lost many times.
Right.
And it's the people like yourself who took an extra second to answer some questions that helped shape my ability to help so many people. Yeah. I don't think we're ever in competition. I think we're in a space where we can help.
Yeah.
And change things. So I'm like, if I got it, you good.
I think that conversation that we had earlier where it was like people confuse competition with collaboration.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's important because a lot of people don't realize like me and you can be doing the same exact thing. we need the same resources. What's wrong with sharing those resources?
And I'm gonna tell people this too. Another thing sometime to do is embrace the lane that you're not in.
Yeah.
And so what that means is let's say we doing the same thing, my shit starts getting traction. Doesn't mean yours won't work.
Yeah.
But you might be better at something in a business than trying to manage and run a business. Exactly. So you say, hey, look, man, I'm really good at design stuff, man. I don't know how to sell it though or market it. Right. And I'm like, oh, I had a guy design this, create that, and I'm good at marketing. I've solved 30% of your problems.
Right.
And if you got to figure out the 30%, but I'm like, well, what do you need? Well, can I invest or can I get involved? Absolutely, man. Let's figure out how we can work together because long term, I love to see you be successful as well.
Yeah.
And that's the part too, guys. Don't get in your way thinking you got to be judge, juror, and whatever else.
Yeah.
Lean into them opportunities life provides for you to do what? Literally grow, but you got to get out of your own way.
Right.
I'm not the best designer, but I can see stuff clear when it comes to like photography and videography and shit. Right. So that's when you call a guy like, Caravaggio, aka Gooch, and say, look, I need help with this. And how do I design? I want it to look just like this. And you say, well, this is how you do it. I want it to fit well. Okay, these are the measurements I use. Right. And the streetwear, I love the streetwear stuff more and more as we get older and older. Like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. I think I'm gonna be there, in that space. But look, we gonna have to do another one because this. I forgot how easy it is to talk to, and even more importantly, man, I love how candid you are and clear, bro. People, listen, you need a guy like him and others in your life. This is a guy we've shared tears together. We've talked about life together. We've talked about success. We've talked about failure. We've talked about change. I've been told this Negro for how long to get the fuck out of Kansas City.
He was telling me that.
I'm like, nigga, you got to get out of here, nigga. Yeah. This ain't the place. This is not the way, nigga.
Yeah, and I think that was a big turning point. Turning point for me, leaving Kansas City and going to Chicago, just because it was like something that happened and it just was like it clicked. Like, what the fuck are you still doing? Like, you got to get the fuck out of here. This is stupid. Like,
And it was eye opening. I remember you telling me like, "Yo, bro, I should have been left."
Dude, my whole goal was when I was 18, I got into Sac State to go to school in Sacramento. I was living out there with my uncle. My Uncle Cutter was the first person he had a clothing store. So he was the one who got me interested in like actually wanting to make clothes.
Oh shit.
Because originally I was like, maybe I wanted to like do some, like learn how to do like styling. Or like, cause like hell, all my cousins and shit would come. Like when it was time to go out or do anything, they wearing my shit or dressing. You know, I'm dressing them up and shit. But yeah, I wanted to do something in that vein. But when I saw like the way that he was getting stuff ordered and how it would come and how it would look, and it was like I was in California, so you got all these people coming and they loving streetwear. LRG was big.
Oh yeah, I remember LRG.
And then this Mazan, I never forget. It was like Mazan was fucking popping in California. But yeah, like so. I did all of that stuff, like, it was just all, like, building blocks to figure out, okay, well, maybe this is something that you can do. But, yeah, it just all made sense. You know what I mean? It put me in a situation and put me in a wave of, like, all right, well, this is what I want to do, so.
But that's getting in the room, though, man. That's the thing that we lack is we come from perverse environments. We don't get to see the world and see what we're capable of. So, you know, if you looked at where we came from, nigga, you couldn't have told me I'd be on a Mac computer designing, shooting fashion photography, and I was, you know, doing whatever else 20 years ago. It's like, nah, nigga, shut up, nigga. I'm be, you know, potentially in jail, depending on what's going on. So it's a beautiful thing when you get to go out and experience life in a way that opens up your eyeballs.
Absolutely.
And to a degree, it opens up your heart and mind.
Yeah.
And you go, fuck, dude, I kind of like this stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make you odd. It gives you perspective.
Yeah.
And perspective is the one thing I know we lack a lot of times when we don't get exposed or exposure.
Right.
Look, man, last question. What keeps you motivated, man?
I think what keeps me motivated is what kept me unmotivated. So just constantly overthinking, constantly worried about what everybody else thought, using the darkness as the suppression that it was.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing. I think the way I felt for the last, 5-6 years, I never want to feel like that again.
Ever.
So I think knowing that that's the alternative, I choose not to do that. So I get up and I fucking move around. I go work out. I write shit down. I talk to people. I wish I had more people to talk to about fashion, but I don't. So and that's just reality. So I look at things. I keep concepts in my head. I keep ideas going. I just talked to Jamarcus about a whole concept of like how I want to launch when new stuff drops. Yeah. Just being able to just get it out. Like I'm goofy, so I'll probably make a TikTok video. I'll probably talk shit. I'll probably be on. You probably see me in comments just clowning people. All of that stuff just keeps me sane.
And look, who told you to get on TikTok?
You did. You did.
I said, nigga.
They had me on there at first trying to dance and shit, and I'm like, nigga, this is
I said, nigga,
me.
get on TikTok. Nigga.
I'm not a
I
counter.
looked up and that nigga was on there talking some shit.
Yeah.
I said, this nigga did it for.
Yeah.
Look, man, I wanna see this dude be successful, man.
No, thank you.
That's my thing. If I could do anything to accelerate, especially as I continue to open up doors and create all types of success. I don't tell a lot of people this, man, but I'm gonna need you, man.
Oh no, I'm here, man.
Point blank, I'm gonna need you because we got a very bright future ahead of us, both of us, man.
It's time to get to work, man. For sure.
There you go, man. Well, people, follow my guy. He's got a journey ahead of him, and I can't wait to continue to be a part of it. He's one of the probably 3 to 5 people I call friend, and that number's kind of growing, but not really.
It is growing.
I done did all kinds of shit niggas didn't think I was gonna do, but it's like this.
I remember when he didn't even used to wear pants. He used to wear sweatpants. And then when he started wearing jeans, I was like, whoa, shit. Dallas has changed you.
Hey, look, that nigga Michael Miller was the funniest nigga on earth, but we was in the Terror one time, and he taught me to do photography. I said, yo, I need you to come over and do these photos. He's like, all right. And when he got there, I had on jeans. He said, nigga, jeans.
Right.
He was like,
white jeans.
He was like, nigga, what you doing with jeans on?
I'll never forget. Trevor came to my house. Trevor used to always wear sweatpants. Trevor he was not a dress because he was like fitness dude. He's like ready to just do some push-ups or some shit. And this motherfucker came over to my house in some jeans. I said, what jeans? What the fuck you come with these?
That's probably the best reaction videos I should ever shot was catching all y'all niggas watching me. This nigga got clothes on?
Right.
What's wrong with this nigga? Something going on, nigga?
I said, man,
Did you change your occupation or something?
I don't know. I was like, he must came from a funeral or something. Like, he got on
Man, that
jeans.
died, nigga. This nigga
Right.
wearing an all white boom,
Right.
boom, boom,
I
boom.
didn't think he knew what denim was. Like, he was just not, he wasn't wearing it. I was like, he just wasn't into that.
Oh, man. Say, listen, people, stay motivated, man. Good stuff, man. That was good.
Yeah,
Hold that down.